Today we're going to talk about pruning tomatoes. These are indeterminate tomatoes, and I'm also going to be looking at the flowering, because as you may or may not see, we are flowering right now, and how tomato flowers pollinate themselves. And wait until you see what I'm going to do with this electric toothbrush. Here we are with my tomato plants that I planted from seed a number of weeks ago. You can check out that full video. I'll have links in the description, maybe a video card up here. Well, let's do some basic pruning here. Here we have the main stem, goes out into a leaf, and in between the leaf and the main stem, the axil, grows a sucker. This here, growing out of the armpit or axil, is a sucker. Get rid of that with some simple pruning. Just pinch it off. Here's a branch, the main stem's down here, and the sucker is growing out in between them. There you go. So why do we prune anyway? Lots of people say don't prune, other people say do prune. Well, basically leaves, they produce energy, right? And that's why they continue to put out stems and suckers throughout the season. And suckers are nearly always weaker. They produce inferior fruit and drain energy away from the main stem, which is right here. There's a sucker, get rid of it. So we want the plant to invest less energy in producing extra branches and leaves and more energy in fruit and producing an earlier crop. Here we have a flower cluster, and I would be pruning every sucker below that. So all that energy coming up that stem goes directly towards that flower cluster. Now I'm going in and I am going to clean up the bottom so I can get some nice air movement flowing through here, preventing mildew and various other diseases that can attack the plants. Tomato plant possible, really. Pruning the side stems below the first fruit cluster. And you also want to prune the yellow leaves. The 3 Ds, dead, diseased, and dying. Get rid of those before they spread themselves into more of your plant. Getting rid of big leaves will help a lot in getting larger and healthier fruit as well, because overgrowth means leaves get less sunlight. Now, if you've got a sucker that's been left too long and it won't take any simple pruning, you can't just pull that and leave a nice small wound. You can break out a nifty little tool like this. Gets into those small places, is very precise and accurate. So pruning not only concentrates the plant's energy into fruit development and earlier harvests and bigger harvests, but if you keep it clear down here in the bottom, like I'm about to do here, it really avoids a lot of soil-borne diseases and funguses that can be splashed up onto your plants. So the plastic I'm using is because, believe it or not, it's the end of January here in the Canary Islands, and we just need the extra few degrees to warm up the roots of these tomato plants so they keep on producing. Here's a little look in the undergrowth here. Get some air. I could actually maybe take off a couple more of these leaves, but it's looking pretty good. Lots of airflow through here. Now let's get to the flowers. So we often hear of the tomato flower being referred to as a perfect flower, not because it's beautiful, but because it has both male and female parts, and it can pollinate itself, so it doesn't have to rely on another plant or another flower. Like a pumpkin plant, for example, will have a long stemmed male flower which will open and then depend on wind or water or insects to carry its pollen to the female flower on the same plant, with the pumpkin at the other end of it. Let's open this up and take a closer look. So I'm going to peel back one of the stamens here, and you can see, if you look really closely, you can see the pollen on the inside of that. And as you pull that back, the stigma is revealed, that long green piece that's in the center, that's the female part. So the pollen is shaken off of the stamen, falls onto the pistil, and if you follow it down to the base of the flower, that's where the ovary is, and that's where your tomato will eventually develop. So how do we get the pollen from the stamen onto the pistil? Well, weather helps. It needs to be dry, but not too dry, for the pollen to fall onto the stamen. And it can be buzz pollination too, by bees or other insects. The buzzing of their wings shakes it off. Or if you have a tutor like this, you can tap it. And this little vibration will actually help as well. Or you can break out the big guns, the old €4 electric toothbrush from the supermarket. Turn that on and let it fly. Just rub the back there, and that vibration mimics a bee landing on it, and the idea is that it shakes that pollen free. I'll let you know how this goes. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And I'll be bringing you updates on these tomatoes as they grow from seed to table.